Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to a brand new game of Hearts of Iron 4. We are going to play today as a communist Brazil, and we're going to try to play relatively quick because in 2 or 3 weeks there is going to be another patch for Hearts of Iron, patch 1.2, which I think will be save compatible, but I'd rather start a fresh game at that point. So why am I playing Brazil? Because South America has lots of countries and lots of opportunity for us to have fun. However, one of the big question marks will be whether the United States decides to rush down, reaffirm Monroe Doctrine, grab all of the spheres over here, and then go Pax Americana. Once they have Pax Americana, they can intervene in wars in South America, or actually anywhere in the Americas. Until then, the fact that the independence of all these countries is guaranteed by the United States means nothing. Because I think it will technically give the U.S. a justified war, but they won't actually be able to declare war against us until that kicks in. So, our goal is going to be to try to get a little bit of damage done before Pax Americana passes. And in particular, what I would love to do is take Venezuela over here because, that's the wrong map mode, because they have a ridiculous amount of oil. More than we will actually use for a really long time, but we can ship that overseas, get a bunch of trade going on, and get a bunch of civilian factories. Obviously, the UK over here in British Guiana has excellent source of aluminium, which we'd love to grab, but that'll be a little harder. Bolivia, on the other hand, 102 tungsten, amazing. Argentina, bad with tungsten, a little bit of steel, and some oil as well. So we've got some good targets available, and we are going to try to get things started with that. First of all, let's take a look at our ideologies. Now, almost always for this, you would want to go down, I'd say, industrial effort, the left-hand side over here, all the way to research slots as quickly as possible. And indeed, that's the best long-term focus. But I really need to make sure we become communist, justify our war, and declare our war, and potentially win our war. I'm not sure exactly how the triggers work for the US, but at the very least, declare our war before Pax Americana comes in, which in theory, the US could be beelining here. It would be 5 doctrines. And I mean, we're going to talk about grabbing 6 doctrines on the way to research lot, and then a couple more over here. I mean, we can become communists without this, actually. And another interesting trick we could do, I'm not sure if this works, but you can't take national focus if you have become communist. But I think if you've completed this, becoming communist doesn't invalidate it, which does mean you can go down to militarism and military youth later on, which is kind of interesting. But I'm going to I think I'll take the proper communist tree over here. It's not as strong because this is an extra 7% recruitable population between militarism and military youth. It's huge. The best we can do over here is the fact that political commissaires gives us a 10% division recovery rate, which ain't bad, but honestly, the rest of this, I mean, you're spending effectively 70 political power here to gain 200, so it's giving you a bonus of 130. Also, the subversive activity stuff, meh. This would accelerate us getting communism, and I think that's going to be important. The problem is, it is going to delay our efforts long term, but maybe we can do more damage a little earlier if we do this. So I'm going to start with political effort, even though our industrial situation really, really, really bites, and it would be nice to rush this along. I mean, it's 3 doctrines, or national focuses, I should say. 3 national focuses for 2 factories. 5 of them will get us another 2, so 5 for 4 factories. Ain't bad. And of course, then you get your military factories over here, but it's only 1 per. These 2 are infrastructure, which obviously is important, but not that critical. It's important because we have very little infrastructure right now, and you get the extra research slot here. You can't get the extra research slot too until you've got 50 factories, which is going to be a while. I'm going to go political effort because I really think we can be a clock. Now, for all we know, the United States is going to spend all its time doing stuff over here in the West, although some of these can't happen until the war has started. Actually, the US is locked out of a lot of things. They could spend their time here. We'll see, but I think we're still going to be better off having done that. Anyway, civilian factories. We are going to start off by building more civilian factories. 1, 2, 3, I don't know, something like that. We'll have to see. At some point, we do have to pull the trigger on starting to build military factories, but you do want the baseline civilian factories. The other thing I'd noticed when I loaded up the game to just poke around here a little bit and take a glance at things is that Amazonas starts with no infrastructure. Sometimes in your national focuses, one of the infrastructure efforts will add one there, but this time apparently it does not. So I think it's randomly generated every time, or I just imagine that's entirely possible as well. So we are going to need at least 1 level of infrastructure there. If, well, we're going to war against anyone over here. In particular, I would really like to grab Venezuela early on. They apparently only have 2 divisions here, although that might just be some bad intellect. We'll see what happens once we get the game running. Let's go and get all of our army units, which is 5 infantry and 2 cavalry, which is pretty bad. We'll get them in 1 army and get them positioned over on the border over here. And we'll also get them to start exercising so we can start accruing a little bit of experience. Now, that terrain is pretty sucky. Fighting into mountains. One thing that's interesting about Venezuela, it's only got 70% national unity. Caracas is worth 5, and Zulia is worth 1. So 5 divided by 6 is 83%. So I think if we take Caracas, that's the end of the war. I don't think they're missing another victory point. So, I mean, most likely Venezuela will have it defended. There's a port over here. This province here has a port in it. We could land here. Oh, that's mountains. It's a little tricky. This is what? This is plains, and that's desert. I suppose we could land 2 invasion forces here and here, then have them attack the port here. Is that Miranda? Well, that's the entire district. I don't know what this particular province is. Attack here, claim the port so that we can get some supplies, and then try to go around Caracas, cutting off any troops in the south and draining them from resources. We'll have to keep a little bit of thin front line over here, but that might work. Now, whether or not we'll actually have to use true Marines is a whole nother thing. We may not, actually. But I don't think we can land right on the mountain. If it's defended, it would be really bad. So I think that's what we do. I think we get something like 3 and 3. Or maybe 4 and 4. That would be the optimal sort of weight, right, for the maximum hit. And if it's not defended, then that's good. If it's defended by only 1, we will have the, what, 50% penalty? But that should still give us an edge, especially if our divisions are designed relatively well. That could be a thing. First priority will be reinforcements, then upgrades, but then go ahead and start training another division at a time. That's fine. We'll do that. You can deploy probably an Amazonas over here. Let's make sure that our factories start getting built. Yeah, you're going to do that. We're also going to start right away a line for towed artillery over here, because we're going to need a good number of that. I don't want to overcommit on the infantry equipment until we get infantry equipment 1. And then our research over here. So we start with crap, right? Base equipment, not even weapons 1. Some people start with weapons 1. We don't even have the light tanks, just great war tanks, which I don't think are worth building. We do start with rank 1 artillery, which at least we have that, which is going to be good for us. We don't have any doctrines locked in, but I'm planning on going superior firepower, which makes good use of artillery to punch pretty hard and should be good. I mean, obviously, artillery-heavy armies are going to move relatively slowly, but I think it's going to give us the bang for our buck and be a little bit less dependent on manpower. Ships, we start with this. It's not going to be a huge priority for us to research. Air, we do actually start with the close air support, which is nice, but we don't start with Fighter 1, which is a bit annoying. And engineering, we're here, and industry, we're here. We are going to start with industry research right away, especially the construction speed bonus. I mean, maybe I could have held off on the machine tools. It's not the machine tools by themselves that are important. It's the concentrated industry afterwards that I care about. So we do have a bit of a navy. We also actually have 24 pre-war fighters over here, which I could trash and then deploy somewhere else. We do have a bit of a navy. We've got 2 battleships, actually. 2 light cruisers, 8 destroyers. All in all, not actually a bad setup. I don't know how it compares to all of our neighbors. How's Venezuela? The intel change still says 2. Interesting. So right now we have a huge edge, but we can't declare war against them. And the problem is the dockyards. Actually, start with convoys. There we go. Use your 2 of 2. Just start stockpiling convoys for the long run. We probably won't change that ever. And then this happens in every game, but it's particularly important in Hoi 4, especially when you only have 2 research slots here, is the question of, do you focus on what's best to sort of snowball you in the long term, or is the best way to have a strong position long term to just rush something early on and then use that advantage to build up? I'm going to employ a rush to Venezuela here, is what I'm going to cross my fingers and do. Of course, punching through these mountains are going to suck. Peru wouldn't be much easier and doesn't have much. Argentina might be slightly more doable, although they start with more stuff. I mean, we could just go and take Uruguay over here. It doesn't have a ton of resources. And what about factory counts? Yeah, we have no idea. No idea what they've got. So I don't know. That might be the easiest thing, is just to take out Uruguay. But Venezuela is the real prize. If we can take that, then let's turn off the day-night cycle. There we go. Then we are probably set. So I'm throwing all my money. I'm going all in on a super early rush against Venezuela at the cost of improving our research and infrastructure and industrial base. At our cost of doing that, which is a better long-term strategy, I'm hoping that by ninjaing Venezuela, the gamble pays off. Whether or not that works, I don't know. Let's take half of you, make you into a new army over here, get you to halt, and I will put the cavalry back in blue group over here, but purple group, you are going to be my first naval invasion. So you're going to be launching from here to there. Lock that in. Oops. Lock that in, and your offensive line is going to involve pushing into there. And then, actually, you two, who are dealing with some fuel problems, it's going to be attack group gold. Halt. You're going to be launching from here to here. Lock that in, and your offensive line is to go to there. And actually, this is probably where we'll put our generals. We might want to roll an extra general. There we go. For the front line. So teal's going to be on the front line, and we're going to do that. I don't think we want to use our cavalry. I think I'm going to go ahead and switch them to infantry right away. I mean, we won't have enough resources for everything, but that's going to be okay. And the ones we're recruiting, well, we're probably going to need more in the line. I don't know where we're going to deploy you yet. Modify government. First thing we're going to do is grab the Communist Revolutionary. And a movement from the people for a peaceful referendum would be a lot better than a coup, I think. So we're going to try to go that way. We need new national spirit. We're going to grab the Collectivist Ethos, which is going to tank any democracy support. How you doing? You're already doing the neighbors. So you've already gone Reform Monroe Doctrine into the neighbors. God damn it. Just know the U.S. is going to rush Pax Americana because the U.S. is going to be a huge douche nozzle and interfere with my plans for world conquest. If they do that, then and we won't be able to really do the attacks most likely, and then the fact that we didn't invest in our long-term infrastructure and science is going to suck. I mean, the other thing I could do is sit on my hands until I become communist, join the Comintern, and then get involved over here as, you know, as part of the World War. But I'd rather just actually conquer one of these independently, as opposed to having it become a faction war, so that I can actually piece them out, take all the territory as mine, not just occupy it. That way I won't have to deal with partisans anymore. That's my goal. Okay, Addis Ababa, good. And it's what, May 1st, and there's still not a Spanish Civil War. Okay, that's a little bit slower than usual, which is fine. So we're getting a little bit of communist support from our ideologue. That's going to be nice. And we're, well, not really training this up because actually there needs to be reinforcement to our existing troops, which I'm okay with. Collectivist Ethos is done. That's less important than the internationalist focus. Again, I think you could potentially ninja grab this, even if you're going communist. I'm not sure if that works, but I'm going to go ahead and grab this, give us even more communist support, and hope that that rushes things. God, I hope this pays off, and I don't know if it will. There's probably lots of ways to do this, but it's going to be fine. We definitely want concentrated industry ASAP. I most likely won't be grabbing the electronics techs that decrease research time for exactly the same reason as everything else I'm doing. Instead, I'm going to prioritize techs that make our current army stronger. If we can get to infantry equipment 1, for example, that would be nice. If we can get the thing that gives us a boost to our artillery, that would be nice. If we can get a doctrine, that would be nice. Although doctrines are very slow, but we might be able to pull it off. First doctrine is like plus 20% soft attack for our artillery, I think. All frontline battalions get 20% more soft attack. Yeah, that's actually pretty sick. Because we're most likely going to be fighting soft things, not tanks, right? All right, construction 1 is done. It's not 37 yet. I mean, the next level is really good. The engineering is good because you can get this for a 2% research time discount and this one for a 3, which makes a 5% discount. Also, radio is quite powerful. It's actually really, really, really quite good. But what I think I want to do is I want to get the weapons 1 so we can start producing weapons 1 as quickly as possible. Because right now, all we're doing is producing basic equipment, which isn't particularly helpful. Modify our government. I really do want to go to war economy, but we can't until we're communist. And world tension gets 15%, but that should happen. I think what I want to do is grab a theorist over here for the army experience gain. The sooner, the better. Plus, we'll get a discount to that doctrine research, which I am hoping to start relatively soon. In fact, I think that'll be what we start after concentrated industry. U.S. influence. Okay, they have gone. They've done the South America one. They are really rushing to Pax. If they just go to Pax Americana next, I'm going to be a little miserable. All right. Oh, the Soviet Union is purging things. So we're going to grab that. I don't feel a need to rush to political correctness. We don't need foreign subversive activities quite so much. I don't think that's going to affect us. And the political power, we're spending 70 and 70 days to gain, well, effectively, we're going to net 130 political power. Doctrination, same thing. We don't particularly need that. So now we're going to see if we can't pick up the industrial effort. Or I could get the discount to land doctrines. But no, you know what? We've done enough of our beeline for the super rushed aggressive start. I mean, we're doing like a Zergling rush, right? We're going six pool, and we're rushing some Zerglings out and try to go for an early cheese win against Venezuela. But it's not quite an all-in. If for some reason Pax Americana comes in, Bureau ships, thank God you're not continuing down here. I don't know if you finished it. There may be, because they started with the neighbors. I don't know if he's done Central America or Caribbean Spear. Maybe we saw it, maybe we didn't. I don't remember. It doesn't tell us if he's finished it or not. But he's not researching Pax Americana. So that's one saving grace. Communist support still has a long way to go. But we are gaining... Yeah, we've got internationalism, plus we have our dude. What am I looking for? Right over here. Plus we have our dude over here. So, communist support is rising very, very quickly. Cross our fingers. Now, air zone-wise, there's the Amazonas air zone over here, but the closest air base that we've got is 2,000 kilometers away. I could build an airfield right in here somewhere. I actually don't know where the airfield would be. Hopefully around here in the center, and cover this air zone, which does overlap into Venezuela a tiny little bit. So it's probably worthwhile. Airfields are pretty quick to build. I think I will go ahead and queue one up. Infrastructure, airfield. Keep working the civilian factories a wee bit longer. Although we need our military factories soon. Especially if we're doing the rush. I think I can cut back a little bit on this. If I do that, I'll have an even 15, which is a pretty nice number. Then do military factories. Build these. They're going to go fast, and we do want them to happen. And then start on some military factories. We don't really have the trade to get the maximum efficiency out of our military factories anyway. No sense in trading for 6 steel, though. We'd be giving up too much of our industrial base as is. All right, let's go up to speed 5. There you go. That guy didn't have orders for some reason. Yeah, just hold that. At least it's relatively dense, which is good. I think I keep exercising for now. That's going to be fine. Marxist sympathies in government, that's fine. We want Marxists in government. Totally okay with that. And you're building up your divisions. Now, how can they be building up their divisions if I can't be? I guess I am reinforcing my current ones. They might have everything balanced out, which means their divisions probably aren't fully reinforced. It might not be too bad. Bonus for industry research, and then we're going to grab... I'm going to go down the construction efforts first, before the military factories, especially to get that research slot. It's still the better long-term investment. And yeah, these are nearly reinforced. We can cancel the training as well. I mean, we're so light on gear, maybe we can't afford to do that. And we are actually getting the free army experience every day thanks to our advisors, so that's going to be quite nice. Speaking of, we can go and add support artillery to these divisions. One of the best bangs for your buck you can possibly do. I mean, it's less good if you don't have the artillery, and currently we don't. I think I'm going to want to get that going up a little bit higher. And then something like that. Infantry equipment 1, nice. And concentrate in industry. So we're about to hit 37. We could get mountain divisions to help us take Venezuela, but I don't think that's going to be the key. Same thing with Marines. I think we're going to have to deal without it. I'm tempted to grab this. It gives us 5% more defense and breakthrough, which is good. and will help us get the support equipment too, which is another 5%. That doesn't hurt. We can grab this, which gives our leg infantry 5% more attack. Oh, but I want to start the doctrine research. Yeah. Let's do this. 20% more soft attack on the front line. It's quite nice. What's our current soft attack over here? 69, and that's before we throw in the artillery. The artillery does give us a lot of soft attack as well. So yeah, that's going to be a really important part of our plan if we can get there before goddamn Pax Americana. All right, escort efforts. Thank God. Motorized unlocks more support battalions. We want recon company. That's really important. 10% more soft attack from artillery. I'm going to hold off on that because I'm actually not sure how much artillery we'll actually have in place. Hopefully we'll have a good amount. We're about to hit 37. Do I just want to bank the research? Yeah, let's do that. Modify our government. And actually, we're about to get some industrial research going on. Let's get the industrial concern, because that's still going to be really important to get. So I'm just going to bank that research. It shouldn't peak out. No, we're going to be fine, because we can save 30 days. So I'm going to wait until January the 1st so that we don't have any ahead of time penalties whatsoever. I mean, we still wouldn't get much, but we may as well save it up, right? Rhineland got remilitarized, so that's playing out the same as before. Construction efforts are done. We're going to go to level 2, get more civilian factories. Research slot available. What's America doing? Battleship primacy. Oh, thank God you're not going for Pax Americana. Could so easily be screwed by an early rush there. So we might, like, lose one day. Yeah, I think we will, of bank research. But I think overall it's still going to work out slightly in our favor. Maybe not. I don't know. Depends on when it calculates the penalties. So we're going to grab the... I think the 20% factory output is better than the 10% construction speed. So we're going to grab this first. Plus, the factory output affects military factories as well as civilian. How's the world tension? Okay, not high. Oh yeah, and we're not communist yet. No faction still. But I want to switch to that war economy. As soon as we do that, that's going to make a big difference too. So nothing on the border with Venezuela yet, but 4 to 8 divisions. They're definitely building up their military quite quickly. Or our intel is getting better. That's entirely possible. I should have started a game with Venezuela to see what they've got. But that would be cheating. That would be not quite right. Right? Right. Exactly. Concentrated industry. Excellent. I think it's probably worth getting the next level of construction for everything. I mean, I'm still talking about delaying the engineering and getting the military tech. And I think that's still okay, but I think that this would be sacrificing too much long-term stuff. Too much long-term stuff. It's weird. I feel weird not taking the electronic stuff, though, because it is so good and something I tend to prioritize most of the time. Construction effort 2. So the 2 infrastructure ones I don't care as much about, but the research slot will make a massive difference. So we're going to get over there. All right, more popular support for communism. We're actually above 50% now. So if we held a referendum, well, there's no other real support, not democracy or fascist, so that's going to be okay. Fund the Navy. Oh, yeah. We actually might be able to do more than Venezuela here. Although, we still have to fabricate our claims, which we can't do yet. Hey, a referendum! Okay, March of 37. That feels pretty damn good. So we're going to do that. And we are now Brazilian Socialist Republic. And we can justify a war goal over here, which we're going to do. They've got 3 states or provinces. I don't remember what the division levels are considered in Hoi 4 here. We're going to go against Bolivar. It doesn't actually matter. As far as I know, it's all the same cost. Yeah, it's just 49 for all of them regardless. It matters if you do have... if you're going to go to war with allies, then what you declare on, or if you declare on more, or justify claims on more than one, can affect what you get in a peace deal. But if we're going to go solo, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to grab Bolivar, though, because it's adjacent. 45 days. Or it will last 45 days. That's not how long it will take to produce. Or maybe it will. Anyway, Bolivar it is. Okay, justify that. And we're going to have justified the 19th of November of this year. Will we be ready then? I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and deploy you now. And I'm going to add you to gold over here. I would have preferred 4 and 4, but I don't think we'll quite get there because I think we'll need some more troops. But gold, I think I'll have to trash your plan and then recreate it here for the new guy. Okay. And since we're clearly going against Venezuela, let's get our fleet. You are going to be on patrol here, here, and I think we'll need a naval presence in Cape Verde as well, so we're going to do that. And the submarine will be on convoy raiding duty in the Caribbean Sea off the coast of Venezuela here. Construction, okay. Infrastructure is done, and we'll get the one air base as well before the war starts, and then we'll go back to military factories. That's fine. We still haven't started producing artillery, which makes me a little unhappy, but I don't want to take a factory away from... Oh! I need to start doing weapons 1. I didn't want to take a factory away from here because of the production efficiency, but now it's going to feel like less costly. So I'm going to do that, so we can start producing our artillery, go to something like this going forward, and that as well. We're going to get some military factories up and running soon. So, again, we did hurt our early industry, but the idea is to rush in here before the U.S. gets involved in our goddamn wars. Now, whether or not... You really only have 3 military factories. That's the same as me. So you're going to have... You might spam out some more divisions, but I'm not convinced that they're going to be particularly strong. I don't have an access anything, so I can't make any tweaks right now. I would like to have dedicated artillery divisions added to this. But we're working towards that right now. So, you know what? I'm not feeling too bad. I may want to roll an extra leader here. I would only take 10. Because we don't have very many. So yeah, go ahead. Let's get a level 1 general on the front line there. Use our better generals to land over here. Cross our fingers that we can ninja some important stuff. If we land here and there's no one in Caracas, then we're just going to go walk into Caracas. And I think that will be the end of the war. But otherwise, if we get this beachhead here, it's going to be huge because we can just cut here. Any troops that get over here will be isolated. They'll get run out of supply. We'll just murder them. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, folks. See you next time.